Good morning. Yesterday in my sermon, I was telling you about the YouTube video, The Great Realization by Tom Roberts. It's a poem that was written by Tom Roberts where he is appearing to be a father reading a bedtime story to his children. It's years after 2020. It is his children who ask him, "Tell us the story of the virus again." If you haven't seen the video, I encourage you to go pull it up on YouTube. I think you will enjoy it. It has many positive things and much to think about. But one of the things we talked about yesterday in the sermon was how he was talking about pre-COVID and what existence we had created. And that one of the things that had happened was we had become so overwhelmed with technology and our schedules were so busy, we had become distant from one another. I liked the way that he said it. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke. But the meaning must have melted and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes got squarer and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. One of the things we've discovered in this pandemic is that our schedules have all been blown up. All of our things have changed what we're able to do. And instead of being so busy and having something to do every night and all day long every day and being so focused on technology, we've been given the opportunity to take a moment and to focus on one another. And I really believe it's in reestablishing community, focusing on those around us, family, and connecting still with friends. We still can make phone calls. We still FaceTime. We still reach out to one another. No, we've been finding our ways to remember that community means so much. Rather than all the things we can try to obtain and all the activities we can fill our lives with, there's something so very important about connection and community. And I believe it's one of the things that could come out of this COVID experience, this pandemic, is that maybe on the other side, we find a new normal, to focus again on one another. I told you how the other week Marsh and I so enjoyed getting to watch the SpaceX launch and seeing men finally go to the space station again from America. And it really has gotten my excitement about space flowing all over again and going back and thinking of wonderful memories. I got to thinking about how, it was on July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, they landed on the moon. Michael Collins circled the moon. It was the first time men had ever been there. And we celebrated that. But one of the things we sometimes forget is we went back to the moon again in 1969, very successfully. It was Al Bean, Pete Conrad, and Dick Gordon who went back to the moon on Apollo 12. They landed in the Ocean of Storms. That was the name of the area they landed on the moon. It was there on the moon that we had shot a satellite years before, and they landed close enough to it, which was the idea, for them to retrieve part of that satellite that had been sitting on the moon and be able to bring it back home. No, it was a very successful flight. But to be prepared to fly all the way to the moon and back and to have such a successful flight, these three astronauts had trained together for years. They worked so very hard together, and they weren't just colleagues who were going to the moon. They'd become incredible friends. They flew to the moon, they landed, walked on the moon, came all the way back. They were in quarantine for 14 days. We wanted to make sure they didn't bring back any space bugs. No, they spent a whole lot of time together. And finally they were able to be interviewed and they talked. And I want to read you what they had to say whenever they finally came back. And he said, "In the end, what I had left from my walk in the oceans of storms are memories, like it was a trip to the seashore or a drive in the country. They're all mixed together in a constant stream of thoughts and images that come and go like all memories do. But the most precious things I brought back with me are the same things I left with, my two best friends. I realize you can go through any endeavor or any journey, whether across town or to the moon and back, and all that really matters is that you share the experience with the people that you love. That's what makes life special. Whether you travel to the other side of town or to the moon and back, make sure you travel with the people you love. Maybe this pandemic is going to help us all stop and refocus on one another again, to realize the things that really make life special. Whether you travel to the other side of town or to the moon and back, make sure you travel with the people that you love. It's what will make life worth living. I hope you go out and travel well today.